We picked up this fan that we saw at Costco. Had lights that go all the way around to the sides and straight down. And we want to replace this one. When I first moved in here, the lights weren't working. I put in an LED pad that the only reason it looks bright in here is because I have a desk lamp and an LED work light in. It is really not enough on its own. And so having the light come out the sides will highlight all of my wife's BTS collection. This is the guest room / BTS room. The first step will be just removing this one. To stop real quick because I realized in these directions they are hoping these screws go into some studs. Normally these boxes are installed against one up in the ceiling, but there's no directions other than this must hold the weight of 8.8 pounds. Talking about the fan weight here. While the other one was just screwed into the box, this also supplements by screwing into the box. But I'm thinking that these extra 4 screws are to go through the drywall into a stud. If you're unsure about that or wondering about the weight, then you're gonna have to hire somebody. But I'm gonna keep on going. Show you how solid this is. I mean, this isn't moving at all, so I'm not at all concerned about holding 8.8 or almost 10 pounds. So if you're confused by these directions because they seem pretty vague, it's talking about this part. Pull this cotter pin here, pull this out, and then there's 2 screws, one here and one here, that you pull out too. For this page, this screw is screwed in, so you have to unscrew this first to lower this to pull this pin out. Once you have that collar out, you have to slide it through the cable, so you put them in this way, and then you thread it down. Turn this on. You have to put this on. I find it helpful to remove this, make it a little bit easier to feed through. Can't get this too tight because what you need to do is line up the hole to put the pins in. So you got to loosen it. I think that's the hole, but I think it needs to be higher. So one more turn around. And this just needs to make sure you can get this pin back through both sides. For reference, I had to spin it back way out. Any tighter than this and this pin would not go through. So just keep in mind that there's going to be some thread showing in order to get this part out to put the cotter pin back on. So you put these 2 screws back on, and as you can see there's a lot going on here, so you need to put the parts in that way going back up, and so just pay attention to that order. While you're working on it, you can clip the cable that allows you to hang it while you're working on the wiring. So that's the step I'm doing next. I did my wiring, you saw that I could test it, and it was as easy as black going to the black and the white going to the white. There was that pink wire that I just capped off because for the other fan there was two switches. One operated the fan and one operated the light. This one only has power to this module box, and then the remote controls all the functions of the fan. So you have to use the fan to do the lights and the fan. So I didn't need that wire, so I capped it off, and the power's off on the light switch as well. So that's what I did. This isn't a how-to, but this is what I did, just showing you. And so now that it works, I am going to mount the fan up and button it up. Show you real quick. You loosen one of these and there's the bigger slot, and you can slide it into a smaller slot, and you take one of these out, and that's the shape of the one, because there was 4 bolts in there. So you want to get the one that is fairly skinny and narrow and has a little smooth edge above the threads right by the head, and that's the one that goes in the hole after you get it mounted up with the one that fits to the hole and then slides tight. Just wanted to show you that detail. Wanted to note one final thing. This collar you put on after the sleeve on this step a few steps ago, where you're putting all the components on. Those 2 screws that come out below this, they fit within those large circle slots, and then you spin it and it'll lock it into place, and that hides those screws right there. And then that pretty much finishes it off. Okay, let's see how well it lights up Tata and Chimmy and all these other characters. Let's see. Yes, this room is completely sufficient with this light now. You can use this button here to systematically lower, and then when it double beeps, you've hit the end. And this one can go brighter and brighter. And then it double beeps, and then you're done. And then you can set your fan to run 1 hour, 2 hours, or 4 hours. So maybe if you want to put it on when you first go to bed or something, hit that and it'll go on for 2 hours. Otherwise, you can control the fan here. I think this right here, the blue and red, may reverse it, so that maybe it'll reverse the fan and then pull, like just change the way the air flows, maybe to adjust the heat. And then fan on off. I was kind of curious if it was going to wobble around, but it did not. So it started faster and then it slowed down to medium maybe. Medium's pretty powerful. High speeds up even more. What's nice is the fan we had before wobbled, and so this is great. Way better lighting, better airflow, and doesn't make too much noise. Let's try the low speed. Don't feel too much of a breeze, but a slight one. But all in all, I like it. Finishes off the room nicely. Hopefully my wife will like it too. So it's the next day, and I thought of something the other night. I was wondering if the light switch worked. So when you power it on,
It has that ohm power supply. So I turn it on with the remote and I can walk over, hit the light switch, and it does turn it off. And you can hit the light switch again, and it does turn it on. So that's good. So the light switch can still work as a light switch, just in case you were wondering.